Working in the deli has had to have been one of the most ridiculous experiences that I've ever had when it comes to working somewhere, okay? Have you guys ever worked in a bakery deli before? If so, what was your experience? So let me tell you guys about the that came with working in working next to a deli and all the crap that came with it. So I worked in the bakery and I was the cake decorator after the girl that was there quit. Now where I worked, I'm just gonna call it Winnie, okay? It's a down south grocery chain. I was self-taught on how to decorate cakes, and I was up in line for the job, but they gave it to somebody else. Was I pissed? Yeah, because when the other girl quit, they had did these trial runs with all these different people from Publix. And what you have to know about Publix, I don't know about now, but back then, Publix bakery was split up into two different departments. You had your baking side, which was like your breads, your shortbreads and stuff like that. Then you had your cake side, which is where you just deal with cakes and like that. And you just stand in one spot doing that all day. So when people came from Publix, it was completely different, because at Winnie, you have to do it all. You have to bake and you have to decorate. And I was pretty much doing everything. I was running the show by myself for so long. I was doing orders. I was pretty much doing my boss's job, who was an idiot, by the way. Me and her bumped heads all the time. And it wasn't because I didn't do my job. It was literally just because she or whoever wouldn't, they would not have told me or didn't train me on something. And so when something came up and I didn't do it right or whatever, she would get mad at me or shift blame onto me when it was her fault. So that's the kind of shit that we bumped heads about. And a lot of people over there at bakery and deli bumped heads with her because she never took accountability for anything. So the whole just not managing people, not making people do their jobs. So they had this theory. I don't know. This is just in my head. They would put all the good people that were worth a damn into the deli. So for instance, this one time, okay, so they went on ahead and hired this girl who came from Publix. And of course, she doesn't know how to do anything. The district manager knew her from 17 years ago. So he recommended her, she got hired, and now she doesn't know how to do anything. So because she's over there, first of all, they lied. They didn't tell me that that they gave the job to her, right? She, as far as I knew, she was just working over there, right? So, stupid ass manager threw me over into the deli. Well, I did these, what are they, terrier dogs? I don't know, but I did the two cupcake design. Well, here's the problem. There was 3 people over in the deli that day, and I had to go help deli. I still to this day don't know why, because outside of me, there was 4 other people over there, and the people in the bakery didn't know how to do the 2 cupcake design. Okay, hold on, I misspoke. There was 3 people in the bakery and 4 people in the deli, okay? So the customer, they told the customer that they didn't do the design, that I did the design, so they sent the customer over to the deli to talk to me. Here come the deli people getting all pissed off because I had to stop whatever the fuck I was doing to go talk to her. And then when she left, oh, you're over here in the deli, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I know exactly where the fuck I'm at. My attitude reflects that I know where the fuck I'm at. But I don't understand why I'm being at because I stopped to help a customer. What am I supposed to do? Oh, you customer. I have to come over here and help the deli, God knows why, and just be over here, all day. So just fuck you, because I'm supposed to be over here, even though both departments are connected. So I'm sorry that, I'm a little bit irritated that I have to be in the jerk off deli all day long. And I'm like, but I still don't understand why that was my fault. So I told her, I was like, look, you need to go have that discussion with them, because they told her to come over here and talk to me, even though she's the head cake decorator. So everybody over there got into it with everybody in the deli, all because a customer came to talk to me about a cake. Like, I still, to this day, have no idea why that was such a big deal. You know, and the girl that got mad in the first place didn't even work over there. She used to, and they called her to come back over there and work for the day because some sort of event was going on, and she was the one that ran the show originally, because the bakery deli manager department head sucked so bad. Anyways, so stuff like that happened all the time, where I was constantly being fought over or getting into it with somebody. So then so at the same time, there was some sort of beef going on between morning shift and night shift. So they had this thing where they just weren't going to take out the trash. So this is where y'all need to start taking notes and pay real close attention to where you eat. So when you come into the deli, or when you walk up to it, there's like this case of meat, and then you have your hot bar, which is like the food that they serve, okay? Right? So behind that is like your meat and cheese slicer, and then behind that is the deli wall. So behind the deli wall is the sink, the 3 dunk tanks. So you got your sink. It's the big sink where you have your wash, rinse, and sanitize. And then behind right up against the deli wall, so behind it was the dry rack. And then nestled in between that was the trash cart. So they had some sort of beef going on with each other. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this the night before, so I'm not going to do that. It was just that kind of all the time. So when you have trash that's been marinating all day, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get flies. And since the trash cart is nestled between the clean dishes, guess what? You got flies landing all over the clean dishes. And this is what they cook the food in. So one day, they didn't take the garbage out all day long. I don't know if it's just because they had a rush of customers. I'm not really too sure. But the morning shift people and the mid shift people didn't take the garbage out all day long. It just piled up. So when night shift came and they saw the garbage, they were like, oh, hell no, fuck all that. I'm not taking the trash out either. So now this was in a time where this was before we got the new cake decorator. My manager couldn't figure out how to give me 2 off days, which she could have just stuck her ass over there, but she didn't. She was forcing me to work 6 days a week because I can't figure out how to give you 2 off days. Yeah, okay, sure you can. Anyway, so I was opening and closing. And so night shift was like, I'm not taking so night shift was like, fuck that garbage. I'm not taking the garbage out, whatever. So the next morning, one of the guys that was worth a damn, he opened with me. And I was like, oh, hey, because he was about to walk over there. They called for trash. And I was like, oh, hey, don't open the cooler. No, that's another thing. So when they put trash up at night, they have to put it in the deli cooler. The deli cooler has like refrigerated foods. So the salads, the meats, the chickens, like the shit that you would find in a deli, the cheeses, that kind of stuff. Unless it was a frozen item, it went into the freezer that we shared. But refrigerated stuff, leftovers, all that stuff went in the went into the cooler. So the stuff that you pretty much eat every day in a deli had trash all over it, pretty much. So I was like, hey, don't open the cooler door because they shoved all 7 bags of garbage in there. Now, mind you, the last call for trash is at 7 p.m. The deli closes down at 9. Like, everybody's clocking out at 9 o'clock by that time. So, by the time they close, there should be 1 to 2 bags max in that cooler. It's not better, but it shouldn't be an overabundance of trash. And another thing that they stopped doing was they stopped double bagging. They single bagged the garbage, and so it would rip on purpose. I don't know what this beef was over. I don't know how it started, but I mean, they were seriously trying to get back at each other. So I said, hey, they stuffed 7 bags of garbage in there, so, you know, you're gonna have to brace before you open it. Now, the guy I was with, he wasn't part of the beef. It was the other morning shift people. So me and him just kind of got caught in the crossfire, okay? So he braced the door and kind of opened it a little bit, and trash was starting to spill out. And when he opened the door, all the trash that was in the front just fell all out on the floor. So when he pulled the cart, because they stuffed it into the door frame, they couldn't get it all the way in there, so it was just packed in there. So when he pulled it out, it got caught on the door frame, and all those top bags of garbage just got ripped in half. So he was so pissed, and I couldn't stop laughing at what he was saying. And so I went and got some shopping carts and brought it back there, and I started helping him pick the trash up. So when mid-shift people came in, we lit into they ass. We were like, what did y'all leave all this trash out here for? He was like, oh, that was for the manager. That was for the manager. And I'm like, dude, like, you know how she is. Even if she would have been the one here to open that door. See what it was? He wasn't supposed to open that day. The bakery deli manager was supposed to open that day, and all of us had a problem with her because she's just horrible and lazy, right? And he was also targeting it at other people that opened in the morning times, but mainly at her. I said, you know she's lazy. She would have about it, pulled out her phone and sent you a 10-page text, you and whoever closed, and then she would have got one of us anyway to clean it up. So there was no point in that. Let me tell y'all about the grossness, the other grossness of the deli people. So this girl, oh my God. They had a problem with her ass too, but I don't know like what her issue was, but they also used her to get like fellatio, if you know what I mean, right? They got her to go down on them a couple of times. So there was 2 guys in particular, okay? One of the guys was the one that I just told y'all about that was petty with the garbage. And then there was another one. The other guy was a womanizer. He stayed on women. He flirted with them left and right. He used to get so mad because the same women would come into the store. I'm like, what do you expect? We live in a small town. So anytime there was a new chick that, you know, came in, or a group of chicks, like, he was on them. And it was actually quite fascinating to watch how he would walk up to a woman and put on that charm and snag a phone number, right? Like, he even got mad at me one time because he said I was too nice. So one of the laziness of the deli is when it came to putting up supplies. For some reason, some of my supplies would always end up in their closet because I don't know why, you know, it was going out of their way to walk 15 steps over to me to give me my supplies versus walking 14 steps over to the closet and put my shit in their closet. So I walked past him, and when I was walking back, he started fussing about how he would feel bad if he ever broke my. So even though they fought with her all the time, they still got her to do stuff to them anyway. So one of the things that happened was they told me about them doing stuff in the cooler on top of the food that people ate. Just straight up Like, are y'all serious? And this is coming from the people telling you the story who left the chicken out. You can't leave raw chicken sitting out past 4 hours because then it starts building up bacterias and stuff. And they put all that stuff in the cooler, and then they did what they did on it. I was completely mortified. Okay, and then there was the time that I caught them mid-act behind that deli wall. And yes, we told the manager, the dumbass bakery deli manager, hey, they left the chicken sitting out all night basically because they didn't want to put up the truck. So you're gonna have to reorder your chicken. Well, she got mad about that and still served it anyway. So that's the other kind of shit you gotta watch out for. But anyway, so I caught them in the act one day. I was taking my dishes to the back to wash them. And when I walked back there to set them in the sink so they could soak for a few hours, I see out of my peripheral her lifting up her shirt, her falling free, and then the guy that was the womanizer one ran up to her and sucked her off right there. But then that girl was disgusting. But the day that she did this is when I completely stopped eating over there. Like, I was already not eating over there unless certain people were over there. But when she did this, when I caught her doing it, I was completely done, okay? She was one of those people who did not wash her hands. Like, I remember this one time they were making a platter and somebody dropped the bun, and she told whoever to pick it up and put it back on the tray. And the other girl was like, girl, hell no, we don't do shit like that. She said, well, other people do it all the time. And we're like, we don't give a f-. Like, that's gross. And they got into a whole argument about it. But anyway, she had this thing about not changing her gloves. So, she was opening one day and she was bringing out like all the salads that they had made for the week. So like the chicken salads, the potato salads and stuff like that. And she was getting more food out to put on the hot bar, like macaroni and cheese, green beans, etc. I'm decorating a cake and I see her walking to the deli cooler that they do all types of debauchery in all over the food. And I noticed she still had her gloves on. She touched the door handle with her gloves on, goes inside, gets this big pan that was wrapped up full of whatever, shuts the door with her gloves still on, guys. Gets whatever she's getting, comes back out, shuts the door with her gloves on. Has not changed them. She has the food balanced in one hand, this tray, and she's walking back, and in mid-stride, she picked her ass. Literally jammed her whole hand with her gloves still on up her ass and scratched for like a good 4 or 5 seconds. And then she kept walking after that. Went over, sat the food down, prepped it up, and sat it in the hot bar and sat the other stuff in the cold bar, whatever. And not once did she change her gloves. She never changed them, kept them on. How horrifying. By the way, this is how I decorated cakes, and this was all self-taught. And then this right here is who they picked over me to decorate cakes. And every time she f***ed the cake, which she did every day, right? I remember coming back in one morning and there was a mob of people standing outside the bakery because all of their cakes were f***ed up. But this is who they got, and this right here is a Kappa Beta Phi cake. She butchered that cake. I remember the girl, she came up to me laughing. She was like, "E, you're gonna have to do this order." I said, "I ain't doing that." All the managers sat in there. They picked her over me. They're gonna have to eat this. And this was like, this cake was like $80, I think, because it was a sheet cake, like not a quarter sheet, but it fed like a bunch of people. I don't know, half a sheet cake. And I don't have nothing against her. She was a beautiful soul. I just don't like how I got treated in the process. I got thrown into a situation and I had to do my manager's job, ran an entire bakery by myself, and then they put 3 other people over there because they thought that they were going to do better than me because they were from Publix, and then they couldn't do shit. I ran circles around them. Anyway, so that's all the time I got for today. I want to know, have you guys ever worked in a bakery deli situation before, and was it as horrible or even more horrible than my situation? I want to know in the comments. Please do not forget that this is a bedtime story channel as well. Please check them out. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Up, down and backwards round in pages laced with magic lie tales of danger and true love in Elizabeth's Book of Romance.